All right, let's get ready to dive into the mind of one of the most dynamic, most multifaceted signs in the entire zodiac. Today, we are decoding the complex, the charming, and the always curious Gemini man. And you know, if one phrase just absolutely hits the nail on the head, it's this one, a delightfully confusing conundrum. He's a puzzle for sure, and in this explainer, we are going to put all the pieces together. So here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with his core identity, the whole riddle of the twins. Then we'll explore that quick-witted mind of his, see how he operates in love, check out his compatibility with other signs, and finally, we'll balance out his biggest strengths and his biggest weaknesses. Okay, so first things first, what really makes the Gemini man tick? Well, to even begin to understand him, we have to start at his astrological core. So, we're talking about anyone born between late May and early June. Gemini is an air sign, and that's super important. It means he lives in the world of thoughts, ideas, and intellect. Plus, he's ruled by Mercury, the speedy messenger planet, which is exactly where he gets that incredible gift for communication and his lightning-fast mind. Now this right here is the heart of everything. The symbol for Gemini is the twins, and that is no accident. Understanding that he has, at the very least, two distinct sides to his personality, well, that's the absolute key to decoding him. So how does this whole duality thing actually play out? Let's go inside his mind and meet the two key players. You've got the charming social butterfly and the endlessly active restless thinker. And you can see this duality perfectly right here. On one hand, you have the social butterfly, that witty, charming, life-of-the-party guy who can talk to literally anyone about anything. But what's powering that social genius? It's the other twin, the restless thinker. His mind is like a sponge for information. He's endlessly curious, which also means he gets bored very, very easily. So when you put it all together, you get this incredible mix of positive traits. He's adaptable enough to fit into any situation you throw him in. He's genuinely inquisitive, and he has this playful, fun-loving energy that just draws people in. He's also super open-minded, and beneath all that fast-moving mental energy, surprisingly affectionate and gentle. And this totally plays out in his professional and social life. The guy's a natural networker. He just loves batting around new ideas with smart people. But here's the catch. Whether it's a job or a friendship, he needs constant mental stimulation. Routine is his absolute enemy. And that need for stimulation brings us to one of the most asked about topics, the Gemini man in love. I mean, how do you capture the heart of someone whose mind just never, ever stops moving? Well, the path to his heart actually starts with his head. The very first connection is that intellectual spark, a battle of wits, a fascinating conversation. From there, it's all about sharing spontaneous adventures and new experiences. Trust is then built by going deeper with that communication, sharing dreams and big ideas. And if he can do all that, you'll find that once he finally commits, he's an incredibly loyal and devoted partner. So what kind of person can really capture his attention? Ultimately, he's looking for a partner in crime, someone intelligent and witty who can actually challenge him, but who is also independent and has their own life going on. He needs an equal who shares his adventurous spirit and honestly can just keep up with his fast-paced world. Okay, think of this as your practical cheat sheet for his heart. He is totally turned on by deep conversations, spontaneity, and just being real. On the flip side, clinginess and possessiveness are huge deal breakers. Same goes for rigid routines and a lot of emotional drama. Above all else, he craves lightness and freedom. So this all leads to the big question, right? With a man who can be so flighty and flirty, how do you actually know when he's serious about you? You'll know he's serious when his behavior just shifts. Those inconsistent texts, they become steady communication. He stops just living in the moment and actually starts including you in his future plans. He lets you see behind that witty exterior and shares his deeper thoughts. He becomes fiercely loyal, and you'll start to see this more thoughtful, grounded side of him that he absolutely does not show to just anyone. Okay, let's talk about a fan favorite, compatibility. Which signs naturally click with his high-energy, intellectual vibe, and which ones might create a bit more friction? So his best matches are often his fellow air signs, Libra and Aquarius. They just get his love for conversation and freedom. Fire signs like Aries and Leo also create a really fun, energetic pairing. Now, the matches can get a little more challenging with earth signs, like practical Virgo and serious Capricorn. Their love for routine and structure can really clash with his need for spontaneity. And it's worth mentioning, some sources point to Scorpio as a complex match. Their intensity can either totally fascinate him or completely overwhelm him. All right, let's bring everything together. We're going to look at his strengths and his weaknesses, and you're going to see that they're often just two sides of the exact same coin. And here's where it all just clicks into place. His greatest strength is that he's so adaptable and versatile. The flip side, he can seem inconsistent and unreliable. He's incredibly curious and intelligent, but that can lead to him being indecisive and really easily distracted. He's a charming communicator, but sometimes that charm keeps people at a distance, making him seem emotionally detached. And that fun-loving, spontaneous nature, that is exactly what can make him struggle with commitment. It always comes back to that duality. Which brings us to our final thought. Is the Gemini man a brilliant, silver-tongued charmer, or is he a restless, unreliable enigma? Well, the answer, after everything we've looked at, is that he's not one or the other. He is and always will be both. And that's what makes him so endlessly fascinating.